So let's wrap this baby up. Here's my critical reflection on the whole process of this assignment. So Richard, I think this has been a very clever assessment. It took people a little bit longer to get their head around it because we've been so used to, here's this rubric, you must follow this, this is the syllabus, you have to check all this off. Whereas with this, to me, this has been my your version of SOL. To me, it's engaged me in higher order thinking about how am I going to be able to deliver a criteria but be engaging, and you've left it so open. I think that's where some people have come unstuck. When I went to that lecture and I heard you talking, it was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do about, what I'm going to talk about. This, to me, SOL is a really exciting thing that we can introduce into classrooms right now, and we're able to assist our students in the future, because we don't know what jobs are going to be out there for kindergarten kids that have started this year. We don't know what the future holds for them. We know it's going to be technologically based, but we need to try and prepare kids as best as we can now as educators. And I really think that with SOL, we're engaging them in the higher order thinking. We're helping them being active in finding answers to things. So again, I think this has been a very clever assessment, and giving students such a broad range to go out and actively seek what their learning space will be, I think is fantastic. I think that SOL definitely caters to 21st learning literacy spaces, and for the reasons that you've seen for yourself. Contextually, anyone can do SOL. We've seen with Sagata Mitra, Indian children who couldn't speak one word of English were able to actively go out there and teach themselves how to speak perfect, fluent English. So if they can do that, and I've seen for myself, I've given you examples of how students go out and actively seek these higher order questions and find the answers for themselves. It's very clever. You don't have to be the best speller. It doesn't matter what cultural background, it doesn't matter the gender, your literacy, numeracy levels or abilities. It's all about working together and sharing your knowledge. And I've seen it for myself. Kids at the bottom end of the spectrum still are able to get up there and participate and build their self-esteem by being able to contribute and collaborate with their fellow students. And I think it's fantastic. What the kids actually get out of it is what has a meaning to them, what makes sense to them, and that's what they're getting out of SOL by actively engaging in the research to find the answer to the big question. So different, but at the end of the day, they're learning, and they won't forget it, because it's not a rote learning literacy skill. It's multimodal, and that's the exciting part about it. They don't have to sit in a seat. There's no hard and fast rules. It's very relaxed and a very engaging way to get children motivated to learn. And that's what we want. We want them to be excited, and that's what they are in SOL. The other thing that I've gone out and done is I've got 3 different perspectives. So I have mine, and clearly I'm very much in favour of SOL, and I've demonstrated why. I have a deputy principal of a very large school in Sydney. She's given the technical version of why SOL is good, and she's linked it to that Melbourne document, which is basically the holy grail to the new English curriculum, which was very clever. And she was explaining to me that students of a low ability are now using SOL, are very easily able to obtain 3 outcomes of the new English syllabus, whereas before with the old syllabus, it was very hard if you were a struggling student, particularly a literacy student. So very exciting times. Then I've also had a principal of a small school. She's given me a formative assessment, her opinion, by just observing a SOL class in action, and then also the classroom teacher of a small school. So I've got a bit of a broad spectrum, different opinions on SOL. Quite clearly, they're all very positive. Giving and receiving feedback has been a fantastic idea, also part of the SOL process. It was great to have a look and see what everybody else has been doing. Such a diverse range of different literacy learning spaces, really encouraging. I think that by the time we all collaborate and share what new knowledge that we've come up with, we're going to have a fantastic resource or pool of resources that a lot of us will be able to use, you know, well into the 21st century and create some brilliant literacy learning spaces. And I hope that people find my literacy learning space very, very valuable too. And that is why I've included so many resources, because you can download them and off you go. So also with that, the added bonus of me including Soul in Action, it gives particularly pre-service teachers a really good understanding of how it works, how it unfolds, what it should look like, and what it should sound like, importantly too. It's not a quiet class, it's active, it's got that excited buzz about it, and that's another thing I love about it. Richard, you have made me really step out of my comfort zone. And I was really quite worried about, oh my God, how am I going to do a website? One of my kids has an Apple computer, don't really go much on Apple, but you've helped me create a different literacy learning space for myself, because now I've been dueling computers, working on my laptop and this Apple, and I've learned so much. It's fantastic, and now I feel so confident because you know, I probably haven't created the best website, but I've done it. I've done it on my own. And as I said earlier, you know, you've asked me the big question: show me your literacy learning space. And you know, I've actively had to go out and learn all these things for myself, and I've done it. You know, I just think this has been one of the best assignments I've done for a long time. I've learnt so much, and yeah, at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed it. I've had a great time doing it, and cheers.